Next is Christopher Schläffer of yetu. Where is Christopher? Here. Welcome back to Ecosummit. You have been here 2 years ago, and a lot has happened with and to yetu.
Thank you very much, Jan. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm Christopher Schläffer, Austrian by accent, as you may hear, and I'm the founder and CEO of yetu, which is a Berlin-based company, and our objective really is to create a new standard platform for the smart home. And what is a smart home? A smart home is where increasingly things are connected to the internet. It is green, of course, and it's worth living in. And what I'd like to talk about today is, first of all, a consumer perspective. Really, what do consumers do at home? What is exactly the state of the ecosystem and how far is it with disruptions? And then thirdly, what is our solution as yetu for the smart home? And if you think about the consumer, I brought a bit of statistics with me. What do consumers actually do at home? Number one is sleeping. 8 hours, 33 minutes a day. So that is the average for a US citizen. Unbelievable, but that's what it is. And the next, most important habit is really watching TV. With 4 hours, 28 minutes on average a day per person in the US, that's really what people do at home. So think about it. I think it's quite what you would expect. The next is really listening to music, to radio, or listening to a CD. The next is browsing the internet, 2 hours, 21 minutes a day. And only then do we approach things like household activities, which include heating, lighting, cooking, stuff like that. Eating plays a role, games plays a role, haptic games, playing the cards, but also, of course, online games. Caring for others, for children and the elderly, is a very important time factor. And then, of course, social interaction is important, and amongst other is 13 minutes of reading, including newspapers. So that's really what consumers do at home, and you need to think about that when you come up with a smart home platform where you think about all these inventions standing behind these consumer habits, which will entirely change because they're increasingly connected to the internet. A television set has been invented in Berlin with the IFA Consumer Electronics Show in the early 30s with the cathode ray tube here, and that was an invention which basically, since more than 80 years, does broadcast television schemes at a certain moment in time to a consumer, and it's the same for every consumer. But television will be turned upside down because we're approaching an age where video is being distributed on a personal basis to me as a consumer. It is my video scheme really broadcasted to me at any place, anywhere, and any time, and that is disrupting the entire media industry. And you could go through all these segments, coming down to a light bulb, where a new Philips Hue light now is made up of 1.3 million colors. You can dim it, you can steer it with an app, you can control heating at home, you can distribute music at home to different connected loudspeakers in any room and stream from the internet. So you see there's major disruption at home, starting from energy, entertainment, communication, security, everything. And we do see the disruption. And here is a couple of selected brands who do disrupt in that space and whom we all already know. You look at the left-hand side, that is Netflix, Android TV, and YouTube completely disrupting video. You've got Spotify and the Sonos sound systems, for example, disrupting the music distribution business at home. You've got Nest disrupting heating. You've got a company like the German company called KiwiGrid, who deals with your own prosumer habits, generating energy at home, distributing it into the network, and also consuming at the same time. You've got things for home automation, like the Wink ecosystem or the Philips Hue light. You've got security systems taking place, like the iControl system or Everspring. And you've got health and life care installations with brands like Withings and Gluco there. So disruption really is there, and that real smart home space is at an inflection point. But it's still complicated. Technology at home is still hard to use, and all of us, we have these little corners in our apartments or houses where you have your internet router, your television decoder or set-top box, you might have a network-attached storage. If you're modern-fashioned, you already have a home gateway, you have a device for steering your energy generation, which is called a smart home gateway or smart meter gateway or something like that, and that is the issue of that industry. It really needs disruption in terms of an open platform. And what, in particular, is the issue with that so far closed ecosystem? If you see the apps I've just been talking about, and you see the devices on the bottom, which are increasingly connected to the internet, and everything is getting connected to the internet, the heating system, the energy grid, the television set. In the middle, there's a difficult space. Number one, there's this hardware we just saw in the picture. You need to run multiple gateways in order to operate a smart home today. And that is not only costly, adding a gateway for every application, it also does not interoperate and talk to each other. It is using different communication protocols which are disastrous for a consumer. And if something fails, you cannot get it going again as a consumer. It's by far too complicated. Number two, within these applications or devices, you would find software today which is old-fashioned software. It is not web apps. It is C, C++ coded hardware-related software, which is not interoperable and often proprietary. So developers cannot really get a hold of these devices which are increasingly connected to the internet and cannot come up with innovative new applications for that ecosystem because software actually just sucks. Thirdly, if you think about these apps, it's interesting that apps are really only used on mobile devices so far. And we have two ecosystems. It's iOS from Apple and it's the Android ecosystem. I know there's also Windows and a couple of others like Dyson, but the two dominant ones are these. And that is a fine system if you operate an app on a personal device like a phone, because that's okay. But if you're at home and live there with a family and you have a TV screen with a Microsoft operating system, me, as a father, I'm operating a Mac and an iPhone. My wife has an Android phone and a Windows computer. My two daughters have Android devices. How would you operate a Spotify app across these screens and operating systems? It doesn't work. And how would you buy a family music subscription which you can consistently operate across these screens and operating systems? It does not work. So these apps are always kind of native. They're either tied to an operating system or even to proprietary-based systems, and that is the third thing we need to change. And that's what yetu does. We have created an open smart home platform with basically three elements. First of all, we've come up with a very integrative hardware operating system where one piece of hardware could connect everything at home and be operated magically. Secondly, and that is the core of it, we've come up with a cloud-based Internet of Things middleware, which is really there to translate between the connected devices down there, like a thermostat, and the web developer, and exposing stuff via new tools like a RESTful API and stuff, so that web developers can do something with the system and have abstracted instances. I come to that. And thirdly, we've created a front end which works across any device and operating systems, which is a multi-operating system user front end. Let's have a look at it. First of all, the hardware piece. We have created an integrative hardware operating system where on one single gateway you can connect everything at home. We've also produced a reference design in terms of our hardware, so this is a working thing. We are piloting in the UK starting from next month. And that system connects to the television set via an HDMI cable, like Apple TV. It ports Wi-Fi and connects to the consumer electronics. And it also has these weird protocols from home automation, like C-Wave, Zigbee, and stuff like that, and connects any light, thermostat, etc. So with a single gateway, you can connect everything. We are not hardware manufacturers, and we do think that our operating system in the future will be ported onto internet routers from telco operators so that the internet router becomes the single instance and really connects everything at home. So first is a hardware operating system which is completely novel. Second is this cloud platform, this Internet of Things middleware. What is it all about? It's so difficult to show it because it's code and you cannot touch it, but it's really disruptive. First, it deals with the communication from the home to the cloud and from the cloud into the home, which is, sending commands and collecting sensor signals. Second, it's about device abstraction. We take light as an object or thing which can be turned on and off or dimmed, and you can change color, and every light is the same to a web developer. Third, there's a rules engine where developer can connect things and come up with a scenario. Dim the light if the TV is on, or start heating when consumers come back to the home with something like that. And last, there is a RESTful API exposing to the developers what we have. And the last part of the system is that beautiful front end for consumers. Here it is. It's the same on any screen and device. That is the home page. You have your apps there. You can upload, easily from a Discover store, for instance, something like Netflix or YouTube or Spotify or a Nest application. That's what is there. You can operate these applications like YouTube, and you can operate it anywhere. You can start it on the PC and then follow on the TV screen because there's stage management and full service continuity. And it looks the same on a TV screen. You can operate it like that, and it looks the same on mobile screens. That is the tablet and the smartphone. So that is a front end, the same for any operating system and screen. What is our business model? We are not selling directly to consumers. We are selling to telcos and energy utilities, and we command a software as a service fee. That is our model. And yeah, here we are, and that's where I would like to stop. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christopher. One question for you. Are you currently fundraising?
Yes, we are currently in our second round, which we'd like to close by end of June, and we are happy to talk to potential investors about that.
One after him, okay? Talk to him. He really needs your money. Thank you very much.
Thank you.